Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're diving into a field that might not be on everyone's radar, but stick with us, it's more interesting than you might think. We're going to be digging into the world of road construction supervisors.
That's right. And we'll be using RoleCatcher as our main source for this deep dive, unpacking what this career path really entails.
Exactly. We know you're all about that quick but thorough approach, so we'll be breaking down everything you need to know, what they do, the skills you need, and, trust me, some surprising facts along the way. Like, did you ever stop to think about all the decisions that go into building a road?
It's way more than just laying down some asphalt, that's for sure. It's a complex process with tons of moving parts.
Rollcatcher describes it as being like conducting an orchestra, but instead of instruments, you're coordinating heavy machinery, teams of people, and tons of materials, all to make sure that highway gets built. And it's not just about knowing the technical stuff. A big part of this job is about leadership, communication, being able to think on your feet because let's face it, things don't always go according to plan on a construction site.
Especially if you're hit with, like, an unexpected downpour in the middle of paving a new section, that's got to throw a wrench in the works.
Absolutely. That's where the problem-solving skills come in. A good road construction supervisor can adapt to those challenges, make quick decisions to keep everyone safe and keep the project on track, even when things get unpredictable.
Makes you realize it's not just about the roads themselves, but about connecting communities, ensuring goods and services can get where they need to go, and keeping everyone safe while they're traveling.
Exactly. It has a huge impact on our daily lives, even if we don't always think about it. And speaking of impact, Rollcatcher pointed out some pretty compelling reasons why this career path is worth a closer look, especially if you're someone who values job security.
Oh yeah, that's a big one these days. What did they say about that?
Well, with all the infrastructure projects happening and the demand for these skills only expected to grow, the job outlook for road construction supervisors is looking really promising. They're in demand.
That's awesome. Okay, so we've talked about the impact and the job security, but Rollcatcher keeps things real too, right? I mean, it can't all be sunshine and roses. What about the downsides?
Right, no job is perfect.
Right.
And this one definitely comes with its share of challenges. Think long hours, working outdoors in all kinds of weather, and the pressure to meet deadlines and stay within budget. It can be demanding for sure.
Yeah, that's a lot to handle. It takes a certain kind of person to thrive in that environment, someone who can stay calm under pressure and isn't afraid of little or a lot of hard work.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But for those who are drawn to that fast-paced, hands-on kind of work, it can be incredibly rewarding. You're seeing the results of your efforts, literally building something tangible and making a real difference in the community.
It's not like you're stuck in an office all day, that's for sure. You're out there getting things done.
Exactly. And there's a lot to be said for that.
So it's not for everyone, but that doesn't mean it's not for someone out there listening right now. Maybe this is the push they need to explore it further.
Maybe. And that's where Rollcatcher's insights get really useful. They break down those key skills we keep touching on. Communication, leadership, problem solving, all those things. A road construction supervisor needs to be successful.
And those are valuable skills no matter what field you're in.
Right, absolutely. Being able to analyze a situation, communicate clearly with a team, find solutions when things go wrong, those are transferable skills that can take you anywhere.
It's like, yeah, you're managing a road construction project, but you're also managing people, resources, budgets, timelines.
It's a juggling act for sure. And sometimes you have to make tough decisions under pressure.
Which probably explains why Rollcatcher highlighted things like adaptability, being able to think on your feet, and having strong decision-making skills as crucial for this role. But let's back up a bit. Someone listening might be thinking, okay, this sounds interesting, but where do I even begin? What kind of education do you need to get your foot in the door?
Right. So Rollcatcher says that a high school diploma, or something equivalent to that, is usually the minimum requirement you'll see. But a lot of employers these days, they're going to be looking for more. Like having some college under your belt, especially in something related like construction management, civil engineering, that kind of thing, it definitely gives you an edge.
Makes sense. The more you know, the better.
Exactly. It shows you're serious about the field and that you're willing to invest in your own professional development. And speaking of which, those certifications we mentioned earlier, like the PMP, the Certified Construction Manager, those can be real game changers.
They show you're not just keeping up, you're a step ahead. So you've got the education, maybe some certs, what's next? How does someone actually break into the field?
Well, Rollcatcher suggests looking for internships. even entry-level positions with construction companies or government agencies that handle road work.
That hands-on experience is so valuable.
It is. It's one thing to learn about it in a classroom, but it's a whole other thing to actually be out there on the construction site, getting your hands dirty, seeing how it all comes together in real time.
And probably making some important connections along the way. Networking is huge in any field, but especially one like this, I'd imagine.
Oh, absolutely. RoleCatcher actually emphasized that going to industry events, joining those online forums, connecting with people on LinkedIn, it's all about building those relationships and putting yourself out there.
You never know who you might meet or what opportunities might come from those connections.
Exactly. It's all about putting yourself out there.
Now, one thing I found really interesting in the RoleCatcher profile was how they included examples of different career paths within this field. Like, you could start out as an entry-level worker and then work your way up to a senior road construction manager overseeing these huge, complex projects.
Right. That's what I love about this field. There's so many different ways you can go with it. You could climb that ladder, or you could specialize in a certain area that really interests you.
Like bridge construction or something.
Exactly. Or maybe you're passionate about sustainability
Yeah.
and you want to focus on eco-friendly road construction methods.
Oh, wow. Sustainable road construction. I never even considered that as a thing, but it makes perfect sense. It's like the future of construction.
It is. The climate change being such a big concern. There's a growing need for professionals who can build roads that are durable, but also minimize the environmental impact. A whole new frontier within the field.
It's amazing how this career path that, let's be honest, most people probably don't think twice about, is actually on the cutting edge of some really important issues.
It just goes to show there's often more to things than meets the eye.
So true. But let's not gloss over the fact that this is demanding work. We talked about the long hours, being outside in all kinds of weather. And then RoleCatcher also mentioned the potential dangers of working on a construction site. It's not for everyone, that's for sure.
You have to be comfortable with a certain level of risk, that's for sure. But for the right person, someone who thrives in that fast-paced environment, who likes to see the tangible results of their work and isn't afraid of a challenge, it can be incredibly rewarding.
And speaking of rewards, RoleCatcher mentioned good earning potential for road construction supervisors. Do they give any specifics about salary expectations?
They didn't get into specific numbers, and there's a good reason for that. Salaries in this field, they can vary quite a bit, depending on experience, location, education level, even the specific company you're working for.
Okay, so it's not one size fits all when it comes to pay. That
No.
makes sense.
Exactly. But we can definitely look at some industry data to get a general idea. And from what I've seen, road construction supervisors, they tend to earn a good living, often above the national average for other professions.
That's good to hear. So it seems like there's potential for both personal and financial reward in this field, which is awesome.
Absolutely. And let's be real, who doesn't like the idea of driving on a smooth, well-maintained road?
For sure. This whole conversation has me thinking about infrastructure in a whole new light.
It's easy to take it for granted until you really stop and think about it. All those roads and bridges that connect us, they didn't just magically appear.
There's a lot of hard work and expertise that goes into making those things happen.
And at the heart of it all is the road construction supervisor, making sure everything runs smoothly and safely. They're the unsung heroes of our transportation systems.
Totally. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here, the good, the challenging, and everything in between. But for our listeners who are now thinking, hey, maybe this is the career for me, what's one key thing you'd want them to take away from all of this?
I'd say if you're looking for a career that's both challenging and rewarding, where you can see the direct impact of your work, where you're constantly learning and growing, then road construction supervisor, it's definitely a path worth exploring. There's so much opportunity in this field, especially for those who are passionate about problem solving and making a real difference in the world.
I love that. And if you are ready to take that next step, RoleCatcher's got your back. They have a ton of resources, in-depth career guides. You can even find sample resumes, interview tips. They really break it all down. So if this deep dive has sparked your interest, head over to their website and check it out.
You might be surprised at what you discover. This field might not be glamorous, but it's vital, and it offers a level of job satisfaction that's hard to beat. Plus, you get to wear a hard hat. Who doesn't love a good hard hat?
I mean, you're not wrong. All right, that's it for our deep dive into the world of road construction supervisors. We hope you enjoyed the ride, and until next time, keep exploring.
It's true. They didn't give like specific numbers.
Right.
And there's a reason for that.
Yeah.
Salaries in this field, they're all over the place, depending on how much experience you have, obviously, where you're working.
Mm-hmm.
The more remote the location,
Yeah.
probably the higher the pay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Your education level, even the company you're working for, some companies just pay more than others.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
But we can look at, industry data and kind of get a general sense.
Yeah.
And from what I've seen, road construction supervisors, they can earn a pretty comfortable living, often above the national average, for sure.
That's always good.
So yeah, there's definitely potential there for both financial and personal reward.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I have to say, after doing all this research for this deep dive, it really has me looking at infrastructure like roads and bridges totally differently.
Totally. It's so easy to take it for granted.
Yeah.
Yet we just expect it to be there. Right? Like we need to get from point A to point B, and we assume that there's going to be a road there to get us there safely.
Right. We don't think about all the work that goes into it.
All the planning, all the people involved. It's incredible when you really dive into it.
Yeah, it is.
And at the heart of it all is that road construction supervisor.
Yeah.
Making sure that everything runs smoothly.
Yeah.
Making sure that everybody's safe. So
keeping that orchestra going, right?
Yeah.
Like we were talking about.
Exactly. That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
It's a huge responsibility.
It really is. So for our listeners out there who are now thinking, hey, a career as a road construction supervisor, that sounds pretty cool. What would you say is the most important thing for them to remember as they maybe start exploring this career path a little bit more?
I would say if you're looking for a job that's challenging and rewarding, where you can actually see the impact of your work, in such a tangible way.
Yeah.
If you're someone who likes to solve problems, likes to work with a team, then this might be the path for you.
I love it. And for those listeners who are ready to take that next step, remember, RoleCatcher has your back. They've got a ton of resources on their website, in-depth career guides, sample resumes, interview tips, everything you need to know to navigate this career path. So check them out. You might just be surprised at what you discover.
Exactly. And this field might not be like
The most glamorous.
but it's vital.
It is.
We need infrastructure, and it offers, a really high level of job satisfaction.
Absolutely.
Because you get to see those results.
Tangible results.
Exactly. And you get to wear a hard hat.
And let's be real, who doesn't love a good hard hat?
Yeah.
Right. All right, so that's it for our deep dive into the world of road construction supervisors. We hope you enjoyed this episode. Until next time, keep exploring, and we'll see you on the next deep dive.